Namaste. Hello. Hi, everybody. I hope you all are doing well. Today, I'm making a video that is a long time coming. I've been putting it off for one reason or another. And I was like, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I don't care about the excuses or if perhaps I'm not even capable of doing full justice of covering all the aspects of this great work, of this gem that is the Sacred India Tarot. This is one of the most fantastic tarot deck, or the most fantastic tarot deck I've ever come across, and I guarantee if you get it, it'll be the best one you've ever come across too. But this is such a fabulous tool. I'm gonna do my best to cover the basics and the big points of all of this and what I love about it. And why I think you should get it, especially if you are a practitioner of a dharmic path, if you're Hindu, if you're Buddhist, if you're Jain, or if those sorts of systems appeal to you, this will be fantastic because what is so special about this Sacred India Tarot is that it uses the stories, the epics, and the archetypes from the Indian stories, like the Ramayana and the story of the Buddha and stuff like that, to it uses that in the tarot with the different decks. So we're going to talk about that. Let me show you what everything looks like, and then we'll get into the details. So it comes in this lovely box, and all of the art is done by Miss Jane Addams. And I think it looks like colored pencil to me. It's nice. So with the box, there's like this little magnetic thing to keep it shut. So that's nice because if they don't have the magnet thing, they just tend to like fly open. So that's nice. This is a good quality box. When we open it, it looks like this. So pretty, huh? This is the book. I'll tell you a little bit about the book because it's a thick book. This is really great. Of course, it covers the meanings of the cards. Like any tarot deck you're gonna get a little, at least a pamphlet or a little booklet on the various meanings of the cards and their interpretations. This has so much more than just that. So we'll get into that later. But this is the book by Rohit Arya. Okay. Underneath the book is where you find the deck. We've got Babaji under there. Hey, Babaji. This always reminds me of Monet. Pretty, huh? So that's what that looks like. So yeah, pretty pretty. And I'll show you some of the cards. So again, like what I was saying is these cards, what is so special about them is they use the imagery, the stories, the epics, and the gods of the Indian tradition, which is lovely because especially like for me, I've used tarot for so many years now, well over a decade, and I've gone through a number of various decks. And everybody will have certain decks that resonate more with them, but this was like, holy moly, it's like I've been wearing the wrong shoe size my whole life and I finally got the right shoe, and it's like, bam, I'm like running marathons with these things. So it feels like a great fit for me, and I imagine for a lot of dharmic practitioners it would be the same, because even though a lot of the other decks worked and I kind of understood it, like once I had the devatas and like their stories, and because I guess I resonate so much with the Eastern stories of the Buddha and Shiva and Parvati and Ramayana and all of those things, like it made so much more sense and so many things clicked and there were so many realizations. So yeah, it's great. Now the major arcana I'll talk about first. It all focuses on the Devis and the Devatas, so the major gods of the Hindu tradition. I'll show you a couple of my favorite. We'll start with Ganesh, because he's the one you always start with, the Lord of Beginnings, Ganesh. And all of the major arcana cards have a gold bar at the bottom. So in each of the different denominations, like the wands, the lotus discs, they'll all have a different color there. We have Kali, which is one of my favorite cards, who represents death. So pretty, huh? We got Lakshmi, another one of my favorite cards. Oh, she looks so pretty. Doesn't she look so nice with her elephants there? We have the world card, which is Nataraja. And you see him a lot, on the card there, on the book, on the front of the box. Rohit Arya, he's a Indian guru, and his Ishta, his personal deity, is Nataraja. That's his god. So he gets special treatment here. And then, of course, like we saw Babaji on the box, this is one of the nice extra cards that you get. You get a couple extra like bonus cards, and the blessings of Babaji is one. It's nice when he pops up. So that's the major arcana, the gods and the goddesses and the saints. Let's see. So next I'll talk about the discs. So there's 4 denominations. There's in every tarot deck. You have the discs, which represents the earth, and then you have the lotuses, or the cups, which represent water. You have the wands or the staves, which represent fire. And then you have the arrows or the swords, which represent the air element. So those are the 4 major elements. The 5th one, the Akash or ether, that's represented by the major arcana that we just talked about with the Devis and the Devatas. So what's beautiful about what Rohit Arya has done here is just how well he's lined up the archetypes and the stories and the evolution and the progression, of the elements and how that relates to these stories. So with the earth element and with the discs, he uses the story of the Buddha. So I'll show you a couple cards. So here's the birth of Buddha. There's his mom under the banyan tree, giving birth there. And then all of the earth cards, they'll have, like I said, there's a little coded bar at the bottom to help you remember. So there's a little green bar there. Here's another one, the 7 of discs. Here's 7 of pentacles. Here's the Buddha there. Very nice. Let's see, lotuses next. So lotuses are like cups or the water element. In that, we have the story of Shiva and Parvati, which is very nice. Here's the 5 of cups. This is the story when Shiva was in deep meditation, and then Cupid or Kamdev was shooting his arrows to get Shiva out of his deep meditation to get with Parvati. And he was not too happy, and he opened his third eye and burned Kama to ashes. So poor Kamdev's wife, all distraught. But that's how that deck is related. Water, emotions, those sorts of things are related to the story of Shiva and Parvati. There's a really pretty one too. And then, of course, there's a little blue bar for the water element down there. We have the suit of arrows or swords, which is the air element. And this is represented by the stories of the Mahabharata. So if we look here, we have like Draupadi, who's the queen of arrows or the queen of swords here. That's I get her a lot. She's one of my favorites. I like her. And then we have the wands, which is one of my favorite decks just because there's like story of Ramayana. So story of like Ram and Hanuman. There's Rama and the Vanars and everybody. They're building the bridge to Lanka to go get Sita. I think this is just one of the most beautiful cards. I love her face and her expression. That's Swaha, who's the wife of Agni Dev, of the fire god. So you can see they're very pretty. Like I said, I imagine they were done with probably like colored pencils or something like that. They're very colorful, very beautiful. But yeah, like I said, if you're a Buddhist, or even if you're familiar with the story of the Buddha or the Ramayana, Mahabharata, these things, this is really going to resonate with you. And even if not, once you start using this tarot, even if you use it just as a divination tool, or if you use it as a meditation tool, or you can just use it to actually deepen your experience and realization of those stories as well. So it's like, doing a whole meditation on the suit of discs or pentacles, you could use that as a sadhana or as a tool to really dive into the life and the experiences and the teachings of the Buddha. And the earth element as well. And, you could do the same with the story of Shiva and Parvati and their love story and all of her penance to get Shiva as her husband and all of those things. You can make a whole sadhana, a whole meditation and practice out of that, where you're focusing on each card as an archetypal, as a window into an archetypal, world, into a certain dimension. So one thing that I wanted to read to you here, without getting too boring and without making this video too long, is this paragraph at the end of the book that Rohit Arya, Sri Guru, puts here, because it's not just for using this tarot. This is actually the way that you're supposed to look at tarot, because the world of tarot today is so inundated with new age nonsense and hippy-dippy speculation and a lot of just nonsense, honestly. But in truth, tarot is like a very sober, very serious, very intense, very profound spiritual tool for realization, spiritual realization, and for living your life, not just for like, oh, do I need to be with this man, or do I need to like take this job, using it like as a cheap, what is that called? The 8-ball, that you just shake the 8-ball, for like an answer. Like, it's not some cheap tool like that. So there's just a paragraph and a half here. So I'm going to read that to you. And again, this isn't just for this tarot. This is how the essence of tarot and how you're really supposed to look at it. So, meditating with cards of the Sacred India Tarot. The primary purpose of the Sacred India Tarot, or I would say any tarot, is to serve as an aid to spiritual development. Meditation is always the best spiritual practice, and this section tells you how to utilize the cards for that purpose. The original primary purpose of tarot was not readings, but the enlargement of wisdom and insight in students who were guided by mentors in this quest. The cards of the major arcana were significant life experiences that could be assimilated and utilized on one's own spiritual path. 4, these cards are archetypes, reoccurring themes of thought and experience that have universal significance. An archetype is always a visual image, as humans are conditioned to react most powerfully to images. The tarot is an extremely sophisticated instrument in furthering the science of consciousness. Each card, in a sense, is a yantra, or a contemplative meditation focus. The cards of the minor arcana are useful in meditation too. Each card, being also an archetype, is inherent in the collective unconscious, independent of historical time and eternally in the present, and glimpsed by the conscious mind only in altered states of consciousness. Engaging with the tarot card in meditation is to take responsibility for oneself in an uncompromising manner, for you will be reoriented, the personality rearranged. This may be uncomfortable, even disconcerting, but always valuable, the use of tarot to find a more authentic center for yourself. But the tarot itself is unchanged by that. The archetypal structures give us a sense of place in our lives, and over time help us to make sense of who and what we are in the larger scheme of things. So, yes, remember that. That's important. That's deep. So, if you're into like archetypes and Jordan Peterson and all of those sorts of things, you will be into this, and you need to start looking at tarot as one of these contemplative archetypal meditative tools. Okay. Another thing I want to touch on before I cut off here, because I didn't want to go over 20 minutes. We're almost at 15. 4 or 5 different elements of the book and the use of the cards here that Sri Guru Rohit Arya does that's very special, that you will not find in other decks, right? So the first is in the explanation of each card, you will have the tattva, or the element. So we talked about how, the discs or the pentacles represent earth. The cups or the lotuses represent water, and those sorts of things. So that's all listed and that's talked about, and how those elements interact in mix, because some of the major arcana can be of mixed tattva. So that's all talked about. The major arcana cards, they also come with a mantra. So like I said, each of those cards is like a deity, a devi or a devata, and each one of them, they have their own mantra. They have their own little prayer or their own little chant or sound that goes with it. So along with that meditative process, while you're getting into that zone to focus on that aspect of that archetype, you can have that mantra that you're listening to, that you're repeating out loud or in your inner space to yourself. So that's another nice tool. The explanation. So this is nice. It's the dvara, or the doorway into the meaning and the explanation and the understanding of the card. So, like I said in the beginning, every tarot deck that you get, it's going to come with its own little like pamphlet or booklet or what have you with its explanations. But typically it's very I don't know, very superficial, or I guess superficial would be the thing. And then there's not like a lot of, they don't really touch on a lot of the more profound aspects. But in the dwara, or the doorway into that meaning and into this other dimension, wakening up your consciousness to these different images and the symbolism and the meanings behind all of this. It's really good. It's all explained in there. And then also another thing that's very interesting is the karma. So karma, and you have to read this a couple different times, and I'm not, smart enough or capable enough to really understand the depth of that, and then to condense it to make sense for you. So I'll do my best to explain. But karma is, is your actions, what's led us here and what's leading us to where we're going. But there's variances and subtleties to different kinds of karma. So certain kinds of karma are like really big, immovable karma you can't do anything about. So you just need to do like it's like a meteor that's going to come crashing. So just do your best. You can't stop it. Do your best to lessen the impact there, where there's other kinds of karmas where it's like, more flexible. We could work more with this kind of fluid karma. So, and that is also listed in the book. When you have a certain kind of card, he will tell you which kind of dimension or flavor, I guess you could say, of karma that you're dealing with, so you can better understand the aspect of that card and how it is relating to that aspect of your life, or the person's life that you're doing the reading for. Let's see. I think that's it. And we're almost to 20 minutes, so maybe I should just stop here. But yes, I will link the social media profiles for Rohit Arya. I highly suggest that you get the Sacred India Tarot. You will love it. But also, please go follow, like and follow Rohit Arya on the YouTube and Rumble and Facebook. And I don't know what other social medias are out there, but the ones that I'm aware of, I'll link down here. He is a gem to humanity. He's really great. One of the best, in my opinion, the best guru around, the best living guru that I'm familiar with. So I love his work and his videos and his take on things. And he's just so refreshing because he just says what needs to be said. And that really comes out in his work. So yeah, I hope this was informative and you enjoyed this, and I could do some justice for this Sacred India Tarot. Go out, get you one and enjoy. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.